Well, I think if the relationship's good, you shouldn't have to, like, be afraid to tell them what you want. Like, they should either pick up on your clues
Yeah.
or...
Oh, in other words, you want men to be psychic.
Yeah, no. But, like
First answer
if
was the
you,
right one.
if you, like, drop, like, little clues, like, if the relationship's good enough, they should be able to pick up on that.
Yeah, you're thinking like a woman thinks. That's not how guys think. We need instructions. We need like step 1, step 2, step 3, step
I don't come
4.
with an owner's manual.
Yeah, well, sorry. Most of the guys that you're going to be seeing and dating, like the, we won't get into that on camera, obviously. You have an abundance of male attention in your life right now. And anyway, so what are the things that you really want, but maybe you don't want to tell them?
I think she just explained it. She doesn't want to have to go into detail about what she wants. Just expect what she, like...
Yeah, there's
But you got to tell a guy, like I was saying, logically. We need instruction. Just like dogs. Sit, lay down, roll over. So that's a big disconnect between women and men is you like to drop clues and use examples, and the guys are like, they don't know what the hell.
So I guess for me, like, if I were to, like, give them, like, any, like, hint, it would be, like, learn my love language and show me love that way.
So what's your love language?
It's physical touch and words of affirmation, and then followed by, like, quality time.
And so out of your 3 top suitors, have you had that conversation with any of the 3?
I don't have anyone right now.
You kicked that all blew up?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of drama there?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Can we talk about what happened?
Nope.
It was juicy stuff. But maybe a few months down the road...
We're working on one right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
But those 3 dudes, you didn't tell anyone of them your love language is?
No.
How is that good communication?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Like, when I'm like, hey, like, let's hang out. Like, obviously my love language is quality time.
What if their love language is like gift giving? Say gift giving is one of theirs. So if somebody is into giving gifts, they'll buy you things, but they may not be very touchy-feely, which is one of your love languages.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order for him or them, in that case, to know what your love language is, you have to tell them.
Yeah. Haven't really thought that one through.
This is not surprising.
I think with us, like when it comes to like us women, like we're very reserved over that. Me personally, that's like I guess a flaw of mine. I'm very reserved over it, and I think the same way as Macy. Like I just kind of assume, or not really assume. Like I just, you
assume they understand you.
Well,
know what you want.
I think what you're saying is you assume that they can read your mind or like your body language, when in reality they probably have no clue what you're thinking.
Exactly.
Well, not really assumption.
Most guys don't. And so you have to assume most guys haven't read a book like mine and don't know those things. They can't tell when a woman's interested. They don't have a clue.
Well, not assumption. I meant to say like logical. Like I feel when you're first dating someone, you should test the waters as to like not just like having a conversation with them and getting to know them on dates, but like test the waters with what they feel comfortable with, what they don't feel comfortable with, what you think they might like, won't like. I mean, it's also, like he said, Corey, it's communication as well. But me personally, if I were to answer the questions, what I would want but I won't say, which is something I don't really do often, definitely, like Macy, communication, quality time, physical touch. Believe it or not, I am that type of woman that I don't really expect gifts, but I like getting gifts every now and then. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, guys want to make you happy, and if you tell them what you need to make you happy, most guys will do it, hoping that they figure it out or they pick up clues. It's not going to happen unless you met somebody that's familiar with my work, because they just don't know these things. So you literally have to tell them, I need physical touch, I need words of affirmation. This is my love language. And then ask them what theirs is. Because, it's a two-way street. You're both in it together. And so if you're telling him his love language, you should also want to know his. Because if he's a gift giver and you're a physical touch person, and then you touch him all the time because you're showing him that you care, but you never buy him anything, he's going to feel like you don't care because you didn't buy gifts. That's why it's important to have the conversation, because most of the time the people you're dating don't have the same love language.
There's also on my end reassurance as well. Like, I like to be reassured that, like, everything's fine.
Well, that's words of affirmation, isn't it?
I mean, I guess in a way.
No.
But
What's words of affirmation to you?
Reassurance could be through actions, not just words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Words of affirmation. Just, like, telling me, like, I don't know, like, there's ever a day, like, I'm, like, doubting, like, myself, like, just reassuring that, like, we're okay, but also, like, me as a person, like, I'm doing good.
Yeah, that's what I mean by reassurance, like, something along the lines of that, like, to make
Telling
sure
you
everything's
things
good.
he loves about you?
Yeah.
Stuff
yeah, and
like
also
that.
actions as well. Like, actions definitely speak louder than words. That's another thing as well. So yeah, definitely that. I mean, I do have my bad days, and everyone has their own flaws, but at the end of the day, like, if you're going to be in a relationship, you're basically putting yourself in a position where you're willing to accept that person, you know, if you want to stick around, obviously. So that kind of stuff you have to take into account. Like, at least for me, I like the reassurance. Like I said, I have my flaws. We all have our flaws, and, you know, we just have to be able to be there for each other and make each other feel good. That's definitely for me one of the biggest things, to be honest.
Caroline, you're up. What you got? What
we-
things do you want from a guy, but usually don't tell him?
I don't want a child.
At all?
In a person. Like, listening to all of this just kind of makes me feel like, so annoyed. Like, I don't want a naive man. Like, I don't really have the time of day of having to teach a guy, like, how to please me and how to make me happy. Like, I would rather not just deal with it. Like, if you can't learn me and figure me out, then ciao. Like, go away. That's what I want. I want to not baby you and act like you're, like, I'm not your mom. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like, if you can't just let it do it, like, naturally and, what's another word for, like, naturally, like, just comes out of instinct, then I'm just like, whatever. Not going to waste my time with that.
That's what happens when you date boys instead of men.
Yeah.
Because you like younger guys.
I do like
Like your
men.
friend that you brought over the other night. He's much younger, right?
No, not really. He's 23. I'm 24. But
one of the videos we did, you've dated guys that typically, most of them, they don't have their lives together, their purpose, their mission figured out. And so, obviously, it sounds from what you said, you're frustrated that they don't get you. In other words, they don't know how to be a man, and they don't know how to treat you like a lady. Is that what you're saying?
no, I'm just saying what I want but don't say is, like, I just don't want a naive man.
You don't want to teach him how to be a man. You want him to know what to do.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to give you like a what's it called?
Instruction manual?
Yeah, like an instruction manual, boyfriend for dummies type thing. Like, I don't need that. I think I'm enjoying my independence and taking care of myself.
So for me, one of the biggest things is definitely reassurance, and reassurance can mean words of affirmation or just actions. For me, it's more so towards the actions. Actions speak louder than words. We also have to be mindful that if you're in a relationship with someone, you know, you're just assuming that you're going to stick around with that person. And if you're going to stick around with that person, you need to understand that everyone has their own flaws. It's just a matter of whether or not we accept those flaws, and we have to be there for that person. I personally have my own bad days, and I like to have that reassurance that everything's okay. I don't like the idea of someone saying that everything's okay, and then eventually it's like, oh yeah, no, things aren't going to work out. I don't like how you are. You're not this, you're not that. You're not confident enough. You're not strong enough. I need someone that's like that. But the truth of the matter is, like I said, nobody's perfect. So
You got to participate in your own rescue.
yeah.
So that's your feedback you've gotten from guys you've dated.
Yeah. Well, no, not all of them. It's just
But some of
other
them.
stuff. Some of them.
have said confidence, believing in yourself, right?
Yeah. And honestly, that's been a bit of a wake-up call on my end. But at least with one of the relationships I've had, it kind of did, in a way, serve as a wake-up call for me. Because I do have moments where I realize, I have my moments of insecurity. I have my moments where, I have my moments where I don't feel confident, but I have to be mindful of the fact that I am human. And I am emotional, but you could be emotional and be strong. And that's what one of my friends have told me, and that has stood out to me a lot. So I think I am capable of being strong. I am capable of being confident, but I still stick with the fact that I am human at the end of the day. You know? So when you're in a relationship with someone, you have to be very accepting of that person. And in a relationship, you have to grow. Like, that's one of the biggest things. Like, it's not just love. It's compassion, teamwork, and etc. So if it means, like, your partner feeling down, you got to be there for them. That's the whole point of a relationship. It's love, but you got to be supportive. And you have to grow with each other. That's, like, one of the biggest things in a relationship.
But you got to participate in your own rescue.
Well, that too. I mean, definitely, that's a given. But
because as a man, you want a woman that's on your same level of self-esteem and same level of belief in herself. Like, I've always dated high-achieving women that do well in whatever field they go into, and they typically tend to dominate at it and do really well. Versus, I typically don't like dating women that don't have their lives together, that can't pay their bills on time, that don't have some kind of work that they're doing in life that is exciting. I don't want a child that I got to take care of. I want an equal. I want a teammate. I want a woman that's going to push me, a woman that I admire, that I respect the things that she's accomplished in her own life. That's important.
No, of course, that's
everyone. Because you don't want to rely on the guy that you're with to, in essence, you want him to be your daddy, but you don't want him to hold your hand. And just like what Caroline was saying, she doesn't want to parent a guy and how to be a man. She wants him to know what to do. And as a woman, same thing. You want to be a happy, whole, complete, become a great teammate for somebody. Because if you're going to them because you don't feel good about yourself on the inside, and then you're communicating a lack of confidence, it's just eventually, that gets old, because they want you to, in essence, pull your own weight, that you want to keep up with them and not so much expect them to do everything.
I mean, yeah, that's a given, Corey. I mean, nobody wants to deal with a child. I know. I sure as hell don't want to deal with a child, but don't expect me to always be strong if you're not going to be the same way too. You get me? So we're like I said, we're human. We have our own flaws, so having, of course you have to pick yourself up, but having someone who's there for you and supporting you is also a good thing too.
Yeah.
I find that beautiful. So I just never liked the idea that you have to be this way. You have to.
Like Jim Rohn said, I'll take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me.
Yeah.
You can't give away what you don't have for yourself. Esty, see what you got.
I do agree with Caroline. Independence is key. And I feel like sometimes when it comes to men, they are afraid, or they don't like when you tell them what to do when it comes to that. So you gotta hint it. But one thing I would want that I wouldn't say is, I want you to love me all over again. I want you to chase me again, just like how it was in the beginning. I feel like
chase women.
Well, you have to.
No.
You gotta try.
You attract.
We attract. Yes.
You attract.
But you
guys
go
that
after.
The guys that chase you and blow your phone up, you blow them off.
No, I'm not talking about like that kind of chase. I mean the ones
because when my audience hears that, they hear chasing. That's what they think of: blowing your phone up, constantly reassuring you that they're interested.
Oh no, that's not what
a
I
great
mean.
way
That's the bullshit that they say in the movies. And then as soon as you do that in the what's in the movies, the girl ghosts you. So it's not.
I think she meant when you're already in the relationship.
Yeah.
Keep
He's
chasing.
got to make the effort. In other words, the courtship never ends. That's one of the chapters of my book. You always got to date and court your wife or girlfriend, or otherwise some other dude's going to come along and date her for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you got her in the first place.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep her up her feet and still keep her interested, you have to do that.
I feel like a lot of guys forget that though.
Yep.
Yeah.
They feel comfortable after a relationship 1-2 years and that's it. They're just gonna stay there and just says, hey, no.
Yeah.
A relationship is supposed to be fun. A relationship is supposed to be two people that will live together and have a future together in the future, right?
Based on giving. You go there to give.
Exactly.
And then one of them stops giving, the courting process. So that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Guys that Because that's what you've seen. Guys court you, and when they have you, then they get lazy and they stop doing it. And then you bring it up, and they complain and they rationalize. Oh, I took you on a date a month ago. You used to take me out 2-3 times a week. Well, I took you out a month ago. Spent $100 on you. What's the matter?
Could be. But I feel like they just forget. I was gonna say something I forgot. After you cut me off.
Sorry.
Oh. Instead of like approaching them to like refresh their minds, hint it. I felt like I've done that before. Like hint it. Some things I've done earlier in the relationship when you're like 10 months in, just to hint it so they can get the idea. But no, like there's things that they won't get. So it's just like
you gotta say it. And I love going out to dinner with you. I love going to bed and breakfast, or I love going to the beach on Sundays with you. That's my favorite date.
You can say that, and they still like just listen to you and they just look at you, and they don't do anything.
So when are you gonna take me again?
I've tried that and it has not worked. So
well, that's why they're not with you anymore. Because a guy that cared would do that.
I'm not with them.
A guy that cared would do that. That's the important thing. You look at his actions. He's no longer courting you. If he's not courting you, then obviously he doesn't care. Especially if you're telling him what dates and things you like.
I think he realized that
that's
though.
Part of the vetting process. Is are they going to meet my needs? Are they going to continually meet my needs? And if they're not, and you communicate in a loving way what you need, and he still dismisses it or ignores you, or tries to rationalize and explain away why he shouldn't, then that's when you move on.
Yeah, I did move on, and it was like the best thing I've ever done. But I think he realized too late everything that I said during the relationship. Obviously, he didn't listen, but he wanted to listen after. And he was trying to go after me with like blowing my phone up, but I already was mentally...
Rejection breeds obsession, like we were talking about in the other segment we did.
Yeah. I mean, he already fumbled the bag. He was too late.
He didn't care until you left him. Just like the guy whose wife is always, you never spend any time with the kids, you never take us out, we never do anything. Honey, I'm so busy, next week, next month. Never has time, but when he gets served with divorce papers, he makes time for the divorce attorney.
Mm-hmm. That actually happened in one of my past relationships as well. Basically the same thing that happened to you. So as much as I wanted to do something, it was always some excuse as to why we can't do it or why we're not able to. Everyone has their own circumstances and their own things, but when it comes to like pleasing your woman, you know that is a commitment, and after a while it does get boring if you don't keep trying.
Yes. And I know that it does exist because I see my parents. My brother also sees my parents, so he knows like what kind of
your dad
husband and boyfriend
always makes the effort. He always courts her.
No, my parents are the same too. They're literally the same.
So like when you see your parents, you have like that, like, kind of comfort saying like, hey, in the future there might be someone, because if that exists now, it might exist in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.